What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of AthleteCast, episode 2 of season 2, and I'm here with today,
Trent Sorensen.
All right, Trent. What class are you in, and what is your major, and what position do you play?
So I'm a junior here, or a third year. I'm a management, health and exercise science major, and then I play. This past year, I kind of rotated between linebacker and D-line a little bit, but officially, after having a meeting with the coaches, I play D-line now. So.
So we're gonna start you off with the first question. What inspired you to start playing football?
So when I was young, and my dad played just all the sports I can think of kind of growing up. He was probably a terrible basketball player, but I mean, I know in the barn at his grandparents' house, he played basketball, and he played basketball in middle school and played baseball, and he didn't wrestle or play football until he got to high school, and so I think he wanted to instill a lot of that in me early, especially wrestling, because my dad wrestled at the collegiate level, so. I mean, I've been on a wrestling mat since I was 2, 3, 4 years old. I had football in my hands since I was probably 4 or 5. So, I mean, just really early. I mean, not cognitive enough for me to know exactly what.
All right. So, when did you actually realize that you wanted to play football at the collegiate level?
So, I wasn't even gonna go play football anywhere at all, actually. So, after my senior year, I just thought, after my senior year of football at least, I thought that was it. I was just gonna go to community college. I already had a welding degree at Iowa Central, so I was planning on just finishing up with electrical HVAC trades, trying to get my endorsements in that, and trying to see if maybe I could golf. I mean, I really liked golf at the time, and I'm not an awful golfer, I would say, so just trying to just continue to do that and just at least be active a little bit. But yeah, I just plan on going to the trades originally, and then probably I think it was the day before our first meet of the year for wrestling my senior year. I got a text from the University head coach, just kind of wanted to talk, and then talked a little bit, and about a week later, he gave me my first offer, and I was kind of that was a big eye opener for me. I was I didn't think that for me personally, there was college past the high school level, for me at least, up to that point. And so it was kind of really cool, and I just got really excited. I'm not gonna short that. I was super pumped because I always wanted to play college football. I mean, granted, to me it was more at the D1 level. Yeah, I wanted to play it. But I mean, I recognized that from probably my sophomore year in high school that wasn't a reality. So just getting that first kind of initial offer kind of wanted me to grow and open up into kind of that field of recruitment. So I think that was kind of my first eye opener into what inspired me to play college football, or at least want to more, because I was just kind of sold out up to that point.
So what about wrestling? Did you see a future in wrestling?
No. My freshman year, I was I mean, I didn't really hit puberty yet, up until my sophomore year of high school, and so I mean, my freshman year, I was, I don't know, probably 5'4", 5'5". I wasn't very big, 160 pounds. Yeah, I was pretty small. I have a picture of me in football pads. I look like I'm 8 years old. But yeah, I'm just I always grew up chunky too. I was always kind of a shorter kid. And just kind of chunky. So yeah, my freshman year didn't pan out very well. Sophomore year, that was COVID year, actually. And I only got 12 matches in a year, and then I ended up breaking a bone in my finger down in the knuckle by the hand, so I was done for the year. My junior year, I kind of went 500, and then my senior year, I thought I had a real shot at making state. Came up short, but it's okay. I mean, I was never really the greatest wrestler, and I understood that. And I think long hours with my dad sometimes kind of got to me a little bit with wrestling. Because I think a lot of people understand the aspect of when your dad coaches you compared to when a coach coaches you. So, but yeah, and I think my dad knew that wasn't my reckoning. So I think me and him both kind of mutually understood that this wasn't in the future for me. But I miss it at times. I will say that.
So you said like you started because of your dad. So would you say that's your biggest influence like on your like journey?
Oh, absolutely. By far. And I mean, anybody, especially from like my hometown or immediate family, even like everybody knows that like my dad's my best friend, and he always has been. I mean, it's like it's like it's like my older twin essentially. Is how some people say it, but yeah, I mean it goes all the way back to talking like him, acting like him, and even just like the basics of just understanding more within sports too. Like I still go back to him and just talk about it. So I mean, yeah, he's by far my biggest influence on life. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world either. So
So you said like BB like opened your eyes to like recruitment at football. So like from then on, how was your like recruitment process like?
yes, so funny thing is like I was no matter what, like I think it was just really cool to try and kind of get recruitment, see who else wanted me. But I was pretty sold on BB. I mean, my dad went there. Um, Storm Lake. I mean, you drive like 5 miles north from my house, and you take Highway 3 in northern Iowa, just straight west, and it takes you straight there. So it wasn't a hard path. My dad knew the area, um, and from what I've seen, like, it was pretty solid. Like I didn't really see anywhere else I wanted to go, and I knew that they had not a like wonderful year, but like the year before, um, the new coaching staff got there. They were like 4-6, so like I understood they got some wins under their belt, right? So I was like, okay, like they're kind of on their upward climb, but I still just want to reach out and see what else is out there. A few other coaches came by my high school too during that kind of period of between football and like springtime, when recruitment really opens up. And so I had, I know Co came to my high school, but I wasn't. I just kind of even talked with their coach a few times. Like I just wasn't really sold on Co. And on top of that, I didn't want to go to a team that just was built off of like all they have is just wins. I mean, yeah, it's great to win, but it wouldn't mean a lot to me if I went to school with just like I was just another kid with a jersey on their back. Essentially, that was kind of my big thing. Because like my high school went into like this rebuild phase with our head coach, and like in my junior and senior year, like I mean, it's weird to think about, but like we went 3-5, made the playoffs my junior year, and I mean, is that a spectacular number? And could we have won more? Absolutely, but like it was a starting point for us too. I mean, football there has never been like glorified at all, just because it's never been like a winning program. It's never sustained winning programs like over and over the years. So like for us to get 3 wins and our head coach's second season, second season, he was very good. So like I kind of understood the understanding of like what rebuilding is, right? And so I kind of wanted to still continue that. So kind of like the bottom ARC teams is like, okay, where can I go? And that still makes me feel like home was kind of my big, like one of my big things, right? Talked with Loris's, I can't remember what position he is. But I talked with one of their coaches. He came to our school, and me and him talked a little bit. I just never went out on a visit. Just, I don't know, again, just kind of felt like another jersey on the back. Went to Luther on an actual visit. One of the running backs coach reached out to me and really wanted me up there. Went on a visit. Great guy. He really he didn't have me sold 100%, but like I could tell that he was like a personable person, and that stood out to me. And I talked with their head coach, and I don't know, just didn't feel like there's just something off with the entire thing. I just didn't feel like I was home there. Well, then Hoskins gets the job here, and it was like his first or second day. So he texted me, and I had Coach Q, which I don't think you would know, but he was going to be the OC here, and then he ended up getting a job offer to be the assistant O-line coach at Iowa. So he was only here for like 2 weeks, and during my period of recruitment, at least. And so yeah, they both texted me and came down on a visit, and it just had this weird feeling that like this place was home. Like I wasn't even gonna come on a visit here. Like I saw the records from previous years, and it just didn't like reach out to me that way. So I was like, I don't know. Like it just I'll just want to visit my school anyways.
Yeah, just to see what it's like.
Yeah, and I come down here. It's like I'm meeting guys. Like Nick Warrington was one specifically, like D-line, and he lives like 40 minutes from me. Great guy. Like talked to me the whole time. Coaches are talking to my parents, like they've known them forever, and it's like everything's kind of stacking. And so I got really sold on Sorensen. I mean, I wouldn't change any of that, and so, but it made me feel a lot better that like this was a place that I can feel like I'm 2 hours away from home, but still feel like
This is your
this is my home. And like we're somewhere where there's opportunity for me to live 30 years from now, right? Especially with the Des Moines area and just opportunities there, opportunities here. Campus is close. I don't have to walk 2 miles to get to class. I mean, all the athletic facilities are near where all the school buildings are. So, housing's not far. So I just wanted somewhere that felt like it was home, right? So, all right. I really thought about my decisions. I was really kind of back and forth, and I kind of committed pretty late too. But yeah, I committed in like March, like end of March, just because it took me so long to decide. Like I was having such a hard time with it. And Nebraska Wesleyan's coach reached out to me, and I didn't even coach just kind of take a stab at me, and I was like, I don't know, like I don't want too many more options. Like I'm pretty sold on Easton right here. I think I just didn't want my dad to be disappointed in me, like if I didn't go to BD. But like I also knew my parents wanted that situation for me, so I was kind of like, ended up choosing here. Got all the Hoskins call, but he was super pumped. I was super pumped. My parents thought I made the perfect choice. So yeah, I mean that's how my recruitment went.
so like what like made you like choose like BV over Simpson? Like what gave Simpson that like one up on BV that you decided to come here?
So I mean it's nothing against Storm Lake, but I mean if you've ever been kind of like northwest Iowa, there's nothing in like a 2 hour range, right? So I mean where I'm from is about 2 hours east of there. Fort Dodge is about an hour and a half east of there. Sioux City's an hour and a half west of there. So I didn't really see a whole lot of extra like opportunity. If that makes sense. Like I mean I think a little bit of me felt comfortable there just because that was my dad's alma mater, and like a lot of their recruitment was just based around like, oh, my dad went there to continue like this legacy of my last name being there, and it's like I don't like I don't want to apply everything just to my last name like I do and I don't. Like I want to be my own person at the end of the day too. And for me, coming here kind of gave me that kind of higher opportunity. That like, what's Trent want to do specifically? And I mean, I know I'm not the world's greatest athlete, but it's like what I've done here, I don't think I would have done up there. And that was me looking future tense and now looking past tense too. Like what would I have done there compared to what I could have done here, right? Players here to me were just a lot more personable. Coaching staff just seemed a lot more personable. When I came on the visit here, it's not like they were trying to sell me and wow me with anything crazy. Like it was just all straight up. Like when I went there, to me it just felt like I was just getting sold and like poked by a needle over and over and over again. I didn't like that. And Indianola, in my opinion, is just cleaner. It's just cleaner town. Like I said, there's just more opportunities. So I think that's what gave you the one up, especially. So.
So, like, what was you being recruited as? Were you a D lineman to that high school?
No, so we ran wing speed triple option, right? So you're 5 down lineman, 2 wings, quarterback, under center, fullback, right? Yeah. So I was at fullback. So I was at fullback, and then on the defense side of the ball, I always played linebacker. Like we had 5th and 6th grade tackle football. I was under this organization called YSF football, and I like my 5th grade year played corner. I don't know why my dad thought that was a great idea, but I always played linebacker. Like that's just what I've always played. So I played linebacker in high school too. We just ran a 4-3, and so yeah, and this was the only place that wanted me to play defense, which I mean is like my first ever year playing like running back was my senior year of high school. So like when we were in the summertime, it was a struggle at first to get me to understand like not snagging the ball, working with like an option. So like you got to be really light on your snatch, right? Like you gotta let it hit your stomach, you gotta let it glide, and then like you don't know that you have the ball until like you end up 3 yards downfield and the quarterback's not next to you, right? So everywhere else was kind of recruiting me as a fullback, kind of like just like I can get in the backfield, run the ball on 3rd down. Yeah, I can block, I can go up for passes like a tight end. That was a lot of other places' idea of me, but this was the only place that wanted me to play defense. So at first I was like, oh, I don't want to play defense. Like I actually want to get the ball. I never was in a honest like skill position before, so it's like really cool for me to actually get the ball. The team told me to get the ball, but yeah, which now looking back, I'm kind of glad that I don't get the ball sometimes. But.
All right, so well, you kind of already explained why you, well, kind of didn't, but like you just asked the question anyway. So like, why did you choose Simpson? Like overall, what made you choose Simpson? I know you say like it makes you like feel like it's a home feeling, but like other than that home feeling, what else like actually made you come here?
I mean, I think a lot of people can vouch for this. Like, I didn't just come to Simpson for academics alone. Like, I mean, I honestly just came to play football. But from my understanding too, it's like Simpson academics are looked at pretty highly, and I didn't realize that until I actually got here. So I mean, I guess that really didn't help my decision, but like, it kind of helped my decision. I think like I've never been the smartest kid in the world, and like I'm willing to accept that for what it is. And so I think knowing that like there's opportunity to get a very good education too, on top of playing football, like my mom instilled that in me. I mean, I didn't really want to listen to that, but I mean, but yeah, I mean now looking back, I think honestly like a lot of it came down to the superior academics too.
All right, so with being a student athlete and like just having a life out of being a student athlete, like how do you manage to like balance like academics, your athletics, and your personal life? Like how did you manage that being a junior in college?
I mean, I think everybody kind of has their different ways of going about it. I wouldn't say like mine's out of the ordinary by any means. Um, but I think a lot of it comes down to understanding like who I am and like what works for Trent the best compared to like what works for other people the best. And so like I think that's the great part about like relationships in school especially is like when you get to kind of hang out with people and like be around people, like you gravitate towards others. And like what might be working for them doesn't work for you. And sometimes what works for them also works for you. So I think kind of understanding like how other people might go about things, does that benefit me towards anything, is kind of how I looked a lot at it my freshman year. Because I mean I was just hanging around all my friends all the time. I just kind of almost treated it like high school a little bit my first semester. Excuse me. And so I mean now what works best for me is like just kind of taking a step away from the world for my own personal life. I think is my best thing of balancing everything out. Because I mean, when you're in football season, like you have a block schedule, right? And so I think whenever I can find that time away, I think is the best for me. Because I mean, I get kind of stressed out about a lot. If I feel like a lot's coming on me, I kind of get it's almost like a feeling of like being claustrophobic sometimes. And so for me, during my downtime, my personal time, trying to balance everything out, I think just kind of trying to take a step away from just everything is what's worked best for me. And I mean, the sun's still gonna rise in the morning, right? So it's like not everything has to be going wrong right now, and just taking that deep breath and working away from everything is what, like I said, that's just what's worked best for me at least. And so I think now finishing up my third year of football, because I think I've kind of figured a little bit out of that out my sophomore year. And so like this year, I really wanted to focus on that. Between that and then just knowing that like God's just gonna put me in the right place at the right times. And so that's kind of how I balance everything out. Because like I said, football you got weights at this time, practice, meetings. Yeah, you understand it, especially during fall camp. Like it's really hard to have your own personal time during fall camp, right? And then on top of that, so like now when you're in season too, like all right, now I gotta add school to that. All right, so I'm blocked out from X hours to X hours to X hours to X hours, right? And it's like, all right, so I got this little bit of time between classes to maybe see my friends or do my homework. And like I said, that's when that time that I pull back a little bit. Because like for me right now, I have an 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Then I don't have class, and then I have class 10:20 to 11:20. So that little downtime is like, okay, I can play my Xbox, I can hang out with my roommates, I can take a nap, and that's that time of just pulling back. Tuesdays and Thursdays I don't have class at all. So like, all right, well now I can really kind of find my ways to hang out with people if I really need to. And then like after practice, I think we all know it's kind of difficult just because the kid gets tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my kind of way of working through everything, if that makes sense.
So, been here for 3 years. What can you say has been the toughest challenge you faced as a college athlete, and how did you overcome that challenge?
I mean, I can't think of one specifically. Like physically, it's just been injuries.
Yeah.
Like that's been the roughest thing on me so far in life. Has just been injuries. And so trying to overcome that, I mean, it's just I gotta do what I can when I can. I think that's just the best way to talk about that. Mentally though, I don't know. I think there was a time period this year where I was just I just felt like lost from football for a while, and I mean it was weird to have that feeling. And so I think just showing up every day still, and just being the best leader that I can be for like you, the younger linebackers, the young D line. Like what's I think that's what helped me get through it. Was like just showing up and seeing you guys every day. Whether I mentally want to be there or not. I mean, there were times I really didn't want to be there. Like, I mean, I just felt like I was just dragging myself here every day. And I was dragging every second of practice. And I just didn't want to be here. And I just knew that I can never quit football. Like, that's just something that I can't do. And I've always just been that type of person. Like, I just, if I do something, like, I'm going to stick through it. Like, that's just how I am. And so, I mean, I'd probably say that this year was probably the hardest year on me, mentally at least. And like I said, the way I just got through it was just showing up, continuing to be around you guys, and like, what can I provide for you guys specifically? I think was kind of my background of it. So, like, hope that answers your question
Yeah.
a little bit. But
So how has being like a student athlete here shaped you as the person you are today?
um, you know, I think again this past year, going off from my sophomore year to where I'm at now, I think I think that's really kind of what's molded me the most as a student athlete. And I say that when like I got voted on to leadership council this past year. And, like understanding that I'm in a position where people do look up to me. And it's like, okay, like now I kinda have to like step it up a little bit more. And it's like trying to exceed that boundary of what I only knew before. Because like I was never I was like a wrestling captain, and you can see that. However, I was never really like football is never really in a leadership position. I was just kind of one of those lunch pail guys. I felt like in high school, especially with football, you just show up and leave. Um, wrestling, I was a two-year captain. I mean, golf in high school because I was a board sport athlete. And I golfed in high school, and I mean, I was just kind of the oldest guy in the room. Golf, I never really. I was just kind of there. It was fun. And then baseball, my senior year, I was a catcher, so I kind of had to be a little bit of a local guy there. But, so like now looking back on all that, it's like now that I can expand on. Okay, I'm a leader, and how can I expand on that feeling and how it's kind of shaped me over the past year is just knowing that like there's guys that can come up to me that can be more vocal than I normally am, and it's like, okay, so now trying to look back on myself, it's like, how can I look to like you younger guys to help be more of a leader and be more of a better athlete to push myself. So I think like yeah, I mean I already forgot the question. I'm just going on a tangent there. But
So you can say like being a student athlete like has shaped you like to be more of a leader.
yes, yeah, yeah. Just builds kind of a rock hard mentality too. I think is another way to kind of perceive that too. It's just like just show up, do what's asked of you, leave. Show up, do what's asked of you, leave. And just kind of not be just like one sided with everything, but me be transparent too. I think that's how it's kind of shaping.
Alright, so you only have this semester and next year. So what are your goals like for the rest of your like college career? It can be academics, can be on the field.
Um, that's really the thing. I have 3 semesters left. I mean, I don't know. That, that's a hard one. Just because, like, just coming off the season, it's like no different than kind of like my personal life. Like, there's just a little bit of stepping back in today from just football. Well, like, if it were up to me, I'd start our winter workouts today. Like,
Yeah.
that's just how I am with that type of stuff. But um, just continue to show up, continue to be there. Um, I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I don't really have any goals, I guess, besides just get better and continue to be a leader at least the best I can. Whether I think I am at times or not. Um, which I mean, I hope I do a good job, especially like with our younger guys, even kind of our older guys. Like that's my goal every day is just be a good leader. I hope I am. Like I obviously I don't see that kind of other side, but I only see like my side of how I can do things. I mean, even when I got voted on, I didn't for leadership council. I didn't even think that like I deserved that spot at the time. So it was kind of it was just kind of eye opening to me. And so like that's just kind of been my goal every day. It's just showing up, being there.
Alright, so next question is like what advice would you have for like younger athletes gonna go into college?
I mean, specifically like guys that are going to college or like it could be like kids that are 5, 10, 12, or just kind of both.
I'll just say younger athletes in general, like people that's gonna go into college or like people that's in like sophomore, junior year of high school.
Yeah. I mean, just like just be a sponge. Like just know who you are and be a sponge. I mean, I at times I wish I was more of a sponge. Like just soak in everything that you can, and then like when the time is right and then you squeeze everything out, like you're there. Um, I think too, like, and you know what, like this kind of spoke out to me. Probably about about 2 years now since I had this conversation with a specific kid. So kind of a little backstory on it too. Uh, I had this friend when I was growing up. His name is Cale Shaper. He lived just down the block from me. So like you'd leave my house, you'd walk down like this half block, walk down the block, take a left, and it was like his house. And that was like the house you go to on the block. Like They had like the coolest house ever because they had a rec room and hot tub. And, like it was in a trampoline. Like it was the coolest place to go. And him and my dad were wrestling coaches for the high school, and so they got along. And I mean, growing up too, he was always my coach. Wrestling, football, always my coach. And he was one of the biggest influences on my life, looking back. And like I still talk to him, like I still go up to him, and their family means a lot to me, just because like I had really close relationship with all of them. Well, my friend Kale had two young brothers, Hayden and Colson. Colson's the youngest. And about 2 years ago, I think he came up to me kind of as like a trying to like brag to me or like one up me or something like that. But he just told me that he was going to be better than me. And I was like, I think some people take that differently. And I could have just brushed it off like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. I just remember telling him, I was like, dude, like be better than I was. I want you to be better than I was. Because if you're better than me, you're going to be at a higher level than me. You're going to be a better athlete than me. You're going to have a higher success rate for me. And like, I think it turned from a moment of like him bragging to me a little bit to I think it just seemed like it was like, oh, really? And I mean, I hope he remembers that. I hope he kind of soaked that in. But for me, it was kind of an eye opener that like there's some kids that in my area at least that like still. I mean, I went home like a month or about 2 months ago to just go watch a scrimmage, and I always well, we're kids now, high schoolers, which is weird to look at and call me Unk and all this other stuff. But like that they still come up to me and still reach out to me and like I think it's super cool that like I'm in such a small community and there's a handful of guys that have gone and played at the collegiate level. And like I can be a piece that somebody looks up to a little bit. Or at least I feel like they look up to a little bit. And I could be completely wrong with that, but I mean I just thought it was super cool. And so like another piece of advice, it kind of going off that story is like find somebody, look up to them, and surpass them. Like whether it's a record, whether it's a personality, whether it's just how they played the sport of football. Like I think you just gotta find kind of like that outlet to like strive for every day. Because I think we all have those people that we admire, like Tom Brady's of the world, um, Caitlin Clark's of the world, like people like that. And, like I think that's what I looked up to a lot was like just that super duper high out of this world level of athletics that like what's the point in doing that when there's somebody that's achievable right in front of me, for example. So that would be my advice to younger athletes at least is be a sponge and then like find somebody that's reasonably kind of close to you or not like out of this world particularly that you can strive for their goals and you can reach those goals in the future at least.
So like you said you've been through like injuries. So like how has being a student athlete like affected your like overall well-being?
I mean, just kind of it's waking up every day and just being in pain. I mean, that's like the worst feeling ever. My overall well-being. I mean, I don't really see this happening. Like, I know it's to me, it's sometimes frightening, at least, like knowing that I'm a concussion or two away from like what concussions have done to other people, for example. Like, I have two documented, but I probably I don't honestly know if I've had more than that. Trauma to the head adds up over a while. And I don't think people realize that like once you just get a concussion, like okay, it's like this one and done type of thing. And so like it just kind of adds up over time. So between that, like I just want to like for me it's a big goal to be a dad someday, and like which is weird because I never wanted to be a dad before. And then kind of over the past 2 or 3 years, I think that's kind of been eye opening to me. Like I want to continue my family name and like and just seeing the effect that my dad had on me. And so looking at that side of well being, at least like between head injuries. But then on top of that, like I have pretty poor knees. And I've just accepted that for what it is. Like I wake up in like sharp pain with my knees every day. I have to wake up crack both my knees because they're so like they just get so stiff when I sleep or if I sit down too long. So I'll like get up and I have to like bend my knee in a little bit and it'll just pop pretty violently. So I deal with that every day. Um, yeah, like my foot and my ankle from the sprain. I mean, I ended up finding out that I had a fracture within the bone bruise, and an indent fracture, and there's no cartilage between my heel bone and the bone that's like the arch of your foot. So I have to walk around every day with sharp pain in my foot. And this past year, I separated my AC joints, and now I can like sublux my shoulder, where the ball of it will roll forward in the joint. So like if you can't really see it in my sweatshirt, but I can get it to like violently like pop out this way and then like pop back. Yeah, it's weird. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, looking at it now, I think it's cool, but yeah. So I mean, right now I just gotta deal with it the best I can, I guess. I mean, there's nothing.
Let the ibuprofen fix.
Yeah.
Alright. So you say you like step back a little bit when you like from school and stuff. So like, is that like is that how you handle like if you're like stressed out from like school or like football? Is that like your go-to thing? Is like step back. Like, what is your go-to? Like I say, your,
Method to the madness.
yeah, yeah. What's your go-to method when you're like stressed out and you gotta like pull back? Like, what gets you out of that stress? So,
I think. I mean, I feel at least like I'm a pretty simplistic person. So, I mean, I resort a lot kind of just to just being kind of just taking that step back and breathing. I think helps me out a lot. I mean, I get down on myself a ton, especially on the football field. Like, I get down on myself a ton. It's like this Eeyore mentality that I have on the football field sometimes. If I mess something up, if I don't do something right, something like that. But like a few years ago, yeah, and it might have been my junior, senior year of high school. I just remember, and I've kept this saying going for myself and for others too. But like my dad told me, just I don't even remember why or what had happened. But he was just like, "Well, dogs still are gonna bark in the morning. Sun is still gonna come up in the east, set in the west. The world is still gonna spin." And so I think just kind of recognizing like what is causing such like this like depression in my life right this second. I mean, not to use that like a bad term by any means, but like what's causing all this like drought essentially like in my life right this second that like everything's gonna be fine. Like nothing in front of me is gonna change in the next 30 seconds if I sit there. Yeah. So I think that's just kind of the realization of like take a deep breath, kind of relax the nerves, step away for a second. All right, I'll be good. I think that's kind of just how I do it, at least.
So, like, I'm already like anticipating this answer, but like, when you're like struggling, like, who do you lean on like for that support when you're in school or going through something?
I mean, to me, it kind of depends. Depends on kind of what the situation is. and who is going to kind of be my biggest source at that moment for that reason. And so I think sometimes like sports specifically, I think it's my dad for sure. Um, just because I think a little bit of it too, like him also being a collegiate athlete at one point. I think he hits it too. And then obviously, like I said earlier, he's my best friend. So it's like having that source that's been in the same kind of particular situation as me before, understanding what college athletics are like sometimes, and obviously being kind of that the second half essentially. Kind of it depends too. Because there's sometimes I just I don't want to hear that sometimes from my dad, and it's like I know that's the answer I'm getting here, but it's like knowing that he's giving me that actual advice that I need to. Another one, um, I'd have to say is definitely my mom and my girlfriend, and for when it comes to kind of personal outside of sports types of things, it's one of those two. Just because they've just kind of given me that like I think we all know kind of like that womanly feeling that I don't really know the right word that I'm looking for, but they just they just know how to kind of coddle feelings the right way, if that makes sense. And so I think those two have been my biggest mental support system, especially. And so I like anybody too that's kind of really been there for me. I think I appreciate them a lot for everything that they've done too.
So during the season, taking care of your mental health, I feel like it's like a huge part during the season. So how do you usually take care of your mental health while going through the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all can agree that it's pretty dang hard.
Yeah.
It's pretty dang hard at times, and I mean, I don't really know, because obviously, just like I said earlier, just kind of taking a step back sometimes isn't really like the perfect thing to do. I think there's times that we feel like there's 1,000 pounds above our head, and it's like nothing can stop that. And but I don't know. I think a lot of me thinks about just the fact that like there's however many people that are going through the same situation I am right now, specifically in that sport. And I'm not gonna be the first, or I'm not gonna be the last. Is kind of another way that I think about it. Like I just and I mean just understanding that sun's still gonna rise tomorrow. I mean I'm pretty narrow past some kind of things that I think for myself, because I think that at the same time there's no point in having all just this super wide view of all these different things that can pour in, when it's there's me, there's this little path that I can take. So why would I take the interstate when I could take a tunnel in the same amount of time and get to the same exact place, you know?
Yeah.
So I think just kind of like I said, just kind of stepping back in a way. I mean, sometimes maybe just might need to be hanging out with my teammates, my roommates specifically. Last week, I was pretty frustrated with a lot. My roommate Mike and Allie sat there and watched all the Batmans 2 nights in a row, and just talking about stuff like that. Just me and my other roommate Quentin, we're playing a dynasty right now in college football. Like, why do I need to be caught up and sad about everything when like that's I have all of this in front of me, and I can just live and understand this is what's in the moment right now. So why bother with everything else that could bother me? So I think that's kind of how I take on the mental health side. I mean, I don't know. It's just really hard to kind of dabble into that kind of context specifically, just because I know everybody kind of has their rhymes and the reasons, and it's such a big factor in today's world. And I know that a lot of people kind of perceive mental health a lot differently. Because like I've been on that one side where it's just gloom all the time, and I don't think anybody can help. And there's nothing that's gonna get me out of this, and like just having anxiety and kind of being depressed about everything, and like just like understanding that like yeah, there's gonna be a time for hardships, but there's also gonna be a time in your life where like it's just never gonna get better. And so I don't want to be stressed and depressed and kind of worried all the time about everything when like I have all you guys around me all the time, and that's like my positive outlook. Why do I need to be super stressed and down all the time around my girlfriend when it's like why like I don't know 60, 70 years from now, like look back on that and be like, why did I waste time being worried, mad, and stressed all the time over something that like honestly isn't super big. I'm not saying that people have to go through things that make them sad, because like I said, I've been there. But I mean, just understanding that like there's so many sources around you that you don't even realize, and it takes a lot for people to realize. And even I haven't fully realized everything that's been around me. That can kind of take me away to kind of that paradise of like clear thoughts, good feeling, and so yeah. So like mental health in the season, I think it's just hanging out with your friends and just enjoying everything for what you have right now, and not being really stuck up in everything that could go wrong, and just being focused on everything that can go right this second.
So 3 years in, what has being like a student athlete? What has being a student athlete taught you? Like, is there like any lessons that you learned from being like a student athlete?
Um, Time,
Time.
for sure. I think, yeah, I think that's my biggest one right now, is just time, and just understanding that, like, the value that that holds in life, and how much value we actually credit that for sometimes. Um, I think that's my biggest one, is just time, and understanding that, like, anything isn't going to last forever, and so getting that understanding of, like, what can I do specifically to not like sit there and cherish it and be one of those people that has it in the chokehold and never gives it up. But like just understanding that like I just need to make sure that I can do all the right things to provide me like as much time with as less time, if that makes sense. And so that's kind of my biggest takeaway so far, is just that like just the time aspect of everything.
All right. So, um, so one thing I like to ask people is like, game? What is your game ready like pregame routine?
Um, I mean, I don't know if you've ever like paid attention to me close enough, or like just kind of being around me during pregame, but like I can't do the whole like it's a murder scene. I'm at a funeral. I just can't. It drives me so insane. Like I just can't sit there and
Just be staring for no
and
reason.
I mean, if that's how other people do it, I mean, more power to you. Like it's just not how I get into the zone. I mean, I like to think I'm a pretty upbeat guy with everybody, and like I try and be a pretty upbeat guy, and just knowing that like sports are fun and they're supposed to be fun. And so, I mean, yeah, there's a time to get serious and locked in, but like, why do I need to be super like. Why do I have to be zoned to a point where it's like everything in this world doesn't matter, and the only thing on my mind is just murder?
Yeah.
Like I said, more power to anybody that does that. There's no judgment there. It's just I can't personally do that. That's just not how I am. I just like to be kind of loose because I feel like if I'm just so zoned in on everything, everything's cramped up, and I just feel like a fat hamster in a ball. Like I just sitting there, I just can't do it. Um, yeah, I just like to be happy, kind of as loose as possible. Like I listen to the music that I want to listen to, depending on whether it's 80s rock or even if it's like 2010s mom radio, like all those good songs. Like it doesn't matter. I just music wise at least for me. Um, it's just it's like it's like the be upbeat, kind of happy, ready to go.
So speaking of music, that brings me to my next question. What would you say is your like go-to pregame song?
That's pretty good. It's changed over the years. I will say that it has changed over the years. Um, I will say this too. I think there's a big difference in the music from like when you're on the bus
Mm.
to like even like you're 10 minutes out, like you're on the bus to like just walking around the field to like you're in the locker room. You got your last 5 minutes before you go out. You don't have your headphones on after that point. So kind of like on the bus at least, like I just like to listen to music that just kind of puts me in like a transparent mind. So like I'll kind of switch it up week, but like this last week, like I was just listening to like just country music. Like I like country music, so it's not like out of the ordinary for me. So like I'll just like Too Fast by Jason Aldean's like music. Like I was listening to that. And like the week before that, I was listening to like what was it? It was like this Tate McRae and like Sabrina Carpenter playlist of just like not trying to be goofy or anything, but it's like songs that like just kind of have more upbeat tempos, just kind of out of my head, just kind of listening, just kind of zoning the world out a little bit. And that's like, okay, well, I'm on the field now. At that point, it's either a lot of the same things, or it's like, okay, now I'm kind of like ramping my music up a little bit. So like, just trying to give me more like a more upbeat tempo. When throwing the ball around, walking around, like just kind of something that's kind of like I can breathe in all the outside air and like just breathe it out. It's like I just feel good. I just feel loose and I feel good. When I get in the locker room, it's a lot of 80s rock. Like I love 80s rock, and again, thanks to my dad. Um, like that's just my calling too. It's just like 80s rock. Like Kickstart My Heart is always the first song by Motley Crue. Is always the first song I play, and I have to make it like a point to listen to that song first. And I mean like when my buddy Austin Short before he left, me and him would listen to that, and that was like our song. I guess to not sound cheesy and weird, but like that's just like what we listen to, and it's like and like that's another funny story about music is like the relationship that I built with two friends that used to go here just over a band is insane to me. Like just over the band Motley Crue, it's just kind of it's just funny that we all came so close just because of a song and a band off the Kickstarter of the Motley Crue. But that song, I mean a lot of people don't know this, but there's two songs by this band called Skid Row, another 80s band. Youth Gone Wild and 18 to Life. I listen to those. And then from there, really, like, I don't really judge on anything. Over this past year, I've kind of listened to some more Pink Floyd a little bit, just because it's kind of just more kind of more calming to me. Like the song "Wish You Were Here," like to me that's just more like a like quite literally like a last second right before we go out type of song, just because it's like it's still kind of in that rock genre, but it's like it just kind of gets me mentally just kind of like cleared from everything. So yeah, I think that's kind of like my pregame music type of ritual is that it all kind of varies.
Yeah.
But
All right, last question of the day. If you wasn't playing football here, what other sport would you be playing?
if if I was, I wish I was playing baseball, just because baseball was just it's so fun to me. Like, did I think I was better at football? Yes. Did I have more fun playing baseball? Yes. Do I think I do I think I could probably play baseball still? Probably. I think I'm at this point. It's probably too late just because junior and I haven't played in 2 years. But like even this past year, like I coached baseball, like that made me miss it even more yet. But yeah, I definitely say baseball, just because like I know I can golf whenever, and I don't want to. No, the issue I have with golf is like like especially in high school. There's this one specific school, and it drove me nuts because it's like they were such like you have to walk perfect with your shoulders back, and I have to walk up, hit the ball perfectly, and it's like just play golf, man. Like I like just like there's this one specific kid from Forest City named Jack Arms. Me and him just like it was just fun to golf with him just because we were both just like laid back, didn't care.
Yeah, I was just there to play for fun.
Yes, and it's like there's this kid from a private school this one specific time that just it was like, oh my lord, dude. Like it's not that serious. Like I think he seriously like got teary eyed because he didn't finish on the top two. And it was like it's not that deep, man. So like yeah, so I'm glad I don't play golf at the collegiate level. Like I'm not saying like I cheated or anything either. It's just I just can't do the you have to live or die by these rules on the golf course. Like I don't know. It was just too strict for me at times.
Well, guys, that's all the questions I have for my guy Trent today. Anything you would like to say to end it off?
Um, I mean, just appreciation of letting you or letting me come on the show and having you bring me on. I think it's pretty neat that like first of all you chose me out of however many people first of all.
Well, first off, it was already overdue. We just never got to it.
Yeah.
So,
but between that and then on top of that, that like I want kind of people to understand that like stuff like this can be possible even at smaller colleges. I mean, I don't know if this is exactly like the dream for you, but like you can make an influence to others and others that watch, especially that like little things like this just for what the past hour that we've been here, hour 15, that like we've just been able to sit here and talk and get away from everybody and just kind of have some relaxing time a little bit. So I just want to say thank you for bringing me on. Absolutely.
well, guys, with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below some more questions that I can ask athletes when they come in, or comment down below which athletes you suggest me bring on for you guys. And without further ado, peace.